Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Iman Salah, and today I'm going to be telling you guys a story time. And if you're wondering what this is a hookah, because when I tell some stories, I gotta be smoking on my hookah. I do not promote this, but it's just something that I do. The story time that I'm going to be telling you guys is when my dad basically shipped me off to Michigan against my will. Let's just get into the video. It all started in early 2012, around February. It was my second semester freshman year in high school, and high school was alright, I guess. Like, I had a few friends, and especially this one girl, we're gonna call her Serena. So Serena, I was friends with her, I think, ever since like 7th grade, and then we went to the same high school together. She was a year older than me, so she was a sophomore at the time, and she's always been a little fast, I guess, as in like more mature. Like, she would, like, I don't know, like go to parties at a young age, like drink at a young age and do all that stuff, and I never did it. Like, I didn't start, but anyways, so one day I went to her house, and by the way, my dad, like, he didn't really like her, even though he still let me hang out with her, but he still got this like weird like feeling towards Serena. But one day I went to Serena's house, and she showed me this tattoo that she got like above her like thigh, and it was of Simba, and she was telling me about it. She was like, oh yeah, I got this tattoo, it costs this much amount of money, blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, I didn't think anything about tattoos. Like, I didn't think about getting one, I didn't think about not getting one. It was just not in my head. Then she told me later on that day, she was like, Iman, if you want a tattoo, just let me know. Like, I know a guy, like the guy who gave me mine, he has like a basement studio for like tattooing, and you don't need ID or any of that. I was like, okay, like, sure, like, I'll think about it. And then so a few days pass, and I remember just waking up one morning in my bed, and I'm thinking, like, you know what, I'm gonna get a tattoo today. I don't know what I'm gonna get. And let me remind you guys, I was 14 years old, okay? And so yeah, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a tattoo. I don't know what it's gonna be, but today's the day. So I hit up my girl Serena. I'm like, hey yo, like, can I get a tattoo today, this, that? And she's like, girl, like, let's get you a tattoo. So the tattoo that I wanted, I decided it was going to be a star with like shaded, it's like shaded in or whatever, and I'll insert a picture of it. But yeah, that was like the idea that I wanted. And I guess his studio was kind of like a walk-in, like you could walk in and just like get a tattoo right there. And she hit up the guy that does the tattoos, and she's like, yo, like, my girl wants to get a tattoo today, this, that. And he's like, okay, what do you want? She's like, oh, just a star, like a small star. And he's like, okay, that's probably gonna be about like $45. And I didn't have $45 on me, and I did not have $45. I think I had about 20. And she's like, okay, well, I'll just pay the rest in weed. I'm like, you're gonna give him weed and I'll give him the 20? And she's like, yeah, like, that's fine with him. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we go down there, and I brought my best friend with me. We're gonna call her Nikki, and Nikki's boyfriend at the time, which we're gonna call him, I even forgot his name. Was it Robert? I don't know, but we're gonna call him Robert. And they came, and some other kid from my high school came. I don't know, we're gonna call him A. So we all go down there, we all take a bus down there, because in Seattle, where I lived at the time, transportation was just the bus. You can have a car if you want to, but there was really no point. So we all take a bus downtown. So we go to the guy's basement, and it's a pretty small basement, whatever, yada yada. Tells me to like sit down and pull up my shirt so he can like, cause where I got my tattoo is what you call a tramp stamp. So it's like right in the middle of my lower back. I didn't know at the time it was called a tramp stamp. I just wanted to get it there to hide it from my dad, and I thought it was a cute place to have a tattoo. Little did I know. Nikki and Robert, they eventually leave because they have to go home, and so A was just there with me and Serena. And the guy who does the tattoo, he was like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 14. He's like, I don't know if I can do it for you because you're pretty underage, and I don't want your parents finding out and coming at me and like suing me. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, my dad's not gonna find out, like, all this stuff. So I get my tattoo, and a few days later, you know, I'm hiding it from my dad. Everything was fine. Oh, I also got my belly pierced too, I think the same week. Serena was just like my girl. If I needed anything, she was there to like get it for me. Oh, you want this? Okay, you want this? It was kind of like that. And which is a bad influence. So a few days passed. I want to say like 7 days or 8 days. There's this one kid that used to come into my dad's store, because my dad's store is like a local little store and everybody goes there and everybody knows him and knows me. And there's this guy named Alex, and Alex was a very bad kid. He was just not in the zone, but I still hung out with him because I think at the time I liked him, I don't know. And also my best friend Nikki knew him and they were really close, so we would always hang out with him. And then one day I told my dad, because we were at the store, I was like, you know, I'm gonna hang out with Nikki, we're gonna go to the park or whatever, because the park is right by Alex's house. So Nikki and we went to Alex's house and we were all just chilling downstairs, his basement. And I'm like, hey, like, you know, I got a tattoo, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no way, where? So I showed him. He's like, oh, okay, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. So then a few days later, I go over to Alex's house again, just by myself. And his mom was there. And his mom and my dad are like this. They're really close. And just out of nowhere, he's like, oh, Mom, you know, Iman got a tattoo on her back? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, are you supposed to tell your mom that? Like, isn't she, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, she's probably gonna tell my dad. She's like, oh, really? Let me see. So I show her, and she's like, does your dad know about this? I'm like, not really. And I thought she was gonna be cool and probably, like, not tell him because it's not any of her business. But I was wrong. I mean, I think I was wrong. Somebody told my dad, and I'm assuming it was his mom. Anyways, I go home, everything's fine. When was it? I think it was around, so that all that happened around like February, mid-February, late February. So let's hop on to March 7th, where everything happened. So I remember during that time, after I got my tattoo, my dad told me not to hang out with Serena anymore. I don't know for what reason, I forgot, but I remember him telling me not to hang out with her. And obviously I wasn't gonna listen to him. I was still gonna hang out with her. So one day I was like, oh, Daddy, like, can you drop me off at the mall? I'm gonna be hanging out with Nikki. He's like, okay. He's like, are you sure it's gonna be Nikki? I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be Nikki. Like, who else? Like, you told me not to hang with Serena. I'm not gonna like lie to you and stuff like that. So he drops me off and I meet Serena. We're just walking in the mall, and we have this mall. It's called Northgate Mall. It's just like a long strip. Like, there's no upstairs or downstairs. So I literally get into the mall and I meet up Serena. We start walking, and not even, I think about like 10 minutes later, not even 10 minutes, I turn around and something told me to turn around. I turn around and I just see my dad charging at me like this, like that. And I'm like, why is he here? And I like instantly, my stomach sank, because first of all, I'm with Serena, and second of all, like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I know I'm gonna get in trouble, but why is he here? Like, what? Like, I was so confused. And he grabs me and he looks at Serena. He's like, do not follow us, do not. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, okay. So he takes me by the arm and we go over to like this like corner, or like this, I don't know what it was, but there's a bench there, and he sits me down. He looks me in the eyes and he's like, Iman. I'm like, what? He's like, do you have a tattoo? I'm like, no. Why you always lying? He's like, are you lying to me? I'm like, I'm not lying to you, I don't have a tattoo. He's like, so he's like, okay, prove it. Turn around, lift up your shirt, and show me that you don't have a tattoo. I'm like, okay, Dad. Well, you can wipe it off. You can wipe off the tattoo. It's not, I didn't get a real one. And he's like, so you lied to me. And I didn't even know. I don't even remember saying anything. Like, I knew I got caught. Like, I don't even know what I said to him after that. But I showed him, and then he didn't say anything after that. And he just grabbed me again and took me straight outside. And I remember we were driving. I was in the back seat, just like laying down, just like, oh my God, what's going on? And he's on the phone with somebody, and he's like, I don't want you ever talking to my daughter, speaking to my daughter, blah, 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 all this, that, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, who's he talking to? Like, is he talking to Serena's dad? Is he talking to Alex? Like, who? And so, I remember we get to my dad's shop, and he tells me to go upstairs. He's like, go upstairs right now. He's like, and do not come down. I'm like, okay. So I go upstairs, like messaging Alex, because I'm thinking like, did you tell my dad? Like, because I'm in serious trouble, bro. Like, I'm 14 with a tattoo. Did you snitch on me? He wasn't answering me. Sorry if the camera's moving. I'm like moving around and stuff like that. Okay, don't mind this. But so anyways, I go downstairs. I'm like, Daddy, can I just use the bathroom? Like, I really have to go. And he's like, okay. He's like, okay. And he's dumb because in the bathroom, there is a back door and I can escape. And that's exactly what I did. I locked the bathroom door and I went out of the back door and I start running towards Alex's house. And let me remind you, it's like 8 o'clock at night. And I don't know what's going on. I knew my dad was up to something, but I just didn't know what. And so I start running to Alex's house. I finally get there. I bang on his door. Alex's dad opens, and then I'm like, where's Alex? Where's Alex? And Alex's dad is like, he's right here. Alex. And Alex comes. He's like, what? Why are you here? I was like, and I think I was crying. I don't know, but I remember screaming. I was like, did you tell my dad that I had a tattoo? And he's like, no. And I was like, are you lying to me? And he's like, no, why would I tell your dad? And then so I was like, okay, whatever. And so I leave. And I'm just walking back to the store, and I'm just like, my head's down. I was like, oh my God, like something's about to happen. Because listen, I'm an Arabic girl, and when you have an Arabic parent of any sort and you get in trouble, you're in some deep shit. So I'm walking, and all of a sudden I see my dad's van, and he sees me, and he tells me get in the car. And our house is just 2 minutes away. He takes me home, he gets out a suitcase, and he's like, pack your stuff. I'm like, why? He's like, because you're gonna go live with your aunt in Michigan. I'm like, what? And I loved Michigan back then, like, don't get me wrong, but like, I didn't wanna move there. Like, I have all my friends here, I have high school, like, I wanna enjoy my time, but nope. So I packed all my stuff, I'm crying, I'm whatever. And like, he literally booked a flight that day. Like, it's crazy. And so we're heading towards the airport. I'm screaming, I'm yelling out. He took away my phone, he took away my computer, he took away everything. And finally we get to the airport, and I was making a scene. I was just screaming. I'm like, and the security guards are coming up to me. They're like, are you okay, this, that? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. And literally we go up, I think it was Delta or something, and he's trying to check me in, and the lady's like, we can't send her on the plane like this. Like, you have to go with her. So he had to go with, sorry if I'm like swinging down. My camera's like my phone actually is like slanted. But anyways, so yeah, so he had to come with me on the airplane, and he was pretty pissed off about that. So we get onto the airplane, and I'm still making a scene. But anyways, we finally arrive into Michigan, and no one knew I was coming to Michigan besides my uncle. So my aunt didn't even know. My uncle picks me up, and he's like, you know, like, everything's gonna be okay, blah blah blah. And I just kept like crying, and I was just like ignoring them. I was crying real hard, like, and so then, like, we pull up to my aunt's house, and my aunt's looking. She's like, what? Like, why is my brother and my niece here? So she comes out, and she sees how, like, my eyes are all puffy and stuff, and she takes me out on a walk, and she's like, what happened? And I tell her what happened, and then she told me everything was gonna be okay and stuff like that. And I mean, a few days passed, my dad left, and I still wasn't, like, obviously comfortable with what happened, but I knew I had to get used to it. But yeah, and I had my phone taken away from me for 4 months. They bought me a Mac computer because that was the only thing I could do, was be on my computer. And then I eventually started school, and I turned out to really like Michigan. I accidentally cut out the part where I said that I really did like Michigan until the end of my time in Michigan, which is a different story time. Thank you guys for watching my story time. Make sure to subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. And yeah, I love you. Mwah.